Hi, everybody, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Dodgers Latest. I'm Jim Rodriguez. You can always hit me up on X and on Instagram at JRodShow. The road trip continues. Dodgers winning their first road series of 25 in Arlington against the Rangers. Now after a Monday day off, they head to the north side of Chicago to take on the Cubs at Wrigley Field. And the Cubs again? Now, they've only played 5 games this year, right? Dodgers 3-2 against the Cubs. But man, it sure feels like every week they're playing the Cubs, right? They started in Japan, and the Dodgers won both those games there. Then the Cubs came to Dodger Stadium. Dodgers ended up losing 2 out of 3 to Chicago, including that awful 16-0 loss on a Saturday night at the stadium. Remember, Miguel Rojas ended up pitching, doing his imitations of Kershaw, Sasaki, and Yamamoto. But it's the Dodgers and Cubs yet again. And I'll tell you what, it's big market teams. You got to get these out of the way. But after these 2 games, and it's only a 2-game series at Wrigley Field, Tuesday and Wednesday night, Dodgers and Cubs are done for the regular season. Could end up in the playoffs. Both teams are pretty good. Dodgers start the night 16-7, and the Cubs are 14-10. They've slowed down after a hot start. Cubs and Diamondbacks had a wild game the other day at Wrigley Field in the 8th inning. Something like almost 20 runs were scored in the last 3 innings of that game. Grand slams, home runs. Always an interesting appeal when it's the Dodgers and the Cubs and when a game is on the north side at Wrigley Field. So what are the matchups for tonight? Well, if you're a betting person, you may want to be taking the under on this one. It's Dustin May against Shota Imanaga. Now, Imanaga started the first game of the year for the Cubs in Japan, ended up pitching 4 innings in that game. Dustin May, of course, his comeback story, coming back from not only Tommy John surgery, not only cleaning up the Tommy John, and then having a tear in his esophagus trying to eat a salad. So it'll be May and Imanaga today, and I'll tell you what, look at those numbers. Dustin with a 1.06 ERA, Imanaga with a whip of under 1. So it should be fun, should be a lot of strikeouts in this game. It'll be interesting to see how that plays. Who has done well against Imanaga? Well, Tommy Edman. He's hit a couple of dingers off Imanaga, including one out in Japan. Max Muncy also has a home run against Imanaga. All right, we don't know who the Dodgers will pitch on Wednesday night. That is a Blake Snell day. We don't think Blake Snell is going to be ready. Remember, Blake Snell threw a bullpen session on Saturday in Texas. He was on the injured list because of left shoulder inflammation. Said he still felt some pain. So now the Dodgers will have to decide, do you do another bullpen session with Blake Snell? Or is it time to send it, if he's okay, do you send him down to Oklahoma City or one of the minor league affiliates to try to get some work in? Because tick, 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 it's been a while since he's been on the mound. Dodgers have tried Landon Knack. We could have him back on the mound on Wednesday night after have a good bounce back outing after a terrible outing against the Washington Nationals. But we figure it's going to be a bullpen game, and the Dodgers are fortunate because they had Monday off and will have Thursday off, so they can really unload the clip, if you will. They can really let those pitchers fly tonight and tomorrow night at Wrigley, knowing they're going to have those built-in and baked-in days off before the Dodgers get to Dodger Stadium on Friday to start a homestand against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, when you think of Wrigley Field, obviously historic. It is the oldest ballpark in the National League. You know what the second oldest ballpark in the National League is? That's right, Dodger Stadium. Well, the Dodgers have had their fair share of moments at Wrigley Field. Remember 1982? There was a 21-inning game. That's when Wrigley Field didn't have lights. So the Dodgers had to have Bob Welch playing the position, and then the great Fernando Valenzuela played both left field and right field in that game. In fact, he even had a putout at that game. So the legend of Fernando lives on, always at Dodger Stadium and always at Wrigley Field. And, of course, Dodgers and Cubs played in back-to-back league championship series in 2016 and 2017. The Cubs on their way to their first world championship by beating the Dodgers and advancing to the World Series in 2016. And then the Dodgers returned the favor in 2017, beating the Cubs in the NLCS, winning the pennant at Wrigley Field. And who can forget Game 5 of that 2017 NLCS? Kike Hernandez hit 3 home runs in that game, drove in 7 runs on way to the Dodgers winning the pennant for the first time in almost 30 years. So Wrigley Field, always a special moment. Dodgers also faced the Cubs in the 2008 Division Series. So all in all, 3 times they've faced each other in the postseason. Dodgers have won the series 2 of the 3 times. And now our final update, Hee-Seong Kim. What is going on with him? Listen, obviously the Dodgers signed him from Korea as a big free agent splash, and the Dodgers in spring training felt, you know what, I don't know if he's ready yet for the velocity of major league pitching. Some will say the Korean League is maybe double A compared to triple A compared to the big leagues. But Kim has been playing second base. That's his position, and that's the position he prefers to play. But with the struggles of Andy Pages and the struggles of James Outman, who's Outman, by the way, also in AAA. He's also been playing some outfield. And Kim, not too bad. In 19 AAA games, he's hit 4 home runs, a little surprising power, 6 stolen bases. He is a speedy guy. He can give the Dodgers a huge asset in stolen bases. And he's scored 18 runs. He's also driven in 17 runs. So he has been productive. The batting average, 265, but I'll tell you what, he's getting on base. The hits he is getting are providing some punch with the 4 homers, 17 RBIs, and he's been on base a ton, scoring 18 runs in those 19 AAA games. Dodgers are going to have to make a decision pretty soon about Kim. Obviously, do they need him at second base? Do they need him playing in the outfield? I think the idea is to still get him some more seasoning, get him some more playing time out there. Maybe the idea is moving Tommy Edman to center field, and eventually Kim will come up and play second base. Do they trade James Outman? Lots going on, but Hee-Seong Kim is doing it and doing it well in Oklahoma City. And hopefully we will be seeing him at Dodger Stadium and on a big league roster soon enough. All right, tomorrow, Dodgers and Cubs. Don't know who they're going to pitch. We know Matthew Boyd, who the Dodgers beat at Dodger Stadium. He will be on the mound on Wednesday night for the Cubs. But tonight it's going to be a gem with Dustin May going up against Shota Imanaga, a game that maybe not going to have a lot of runs, again, with that ERA and the whip that we showed you of May and Imanaga. I'm Jim Rodriguez. Hit me up, of course, on Twitter or on X and Instagram at JRodShow. It's always time for Dodger baseball, right? Of course, it's always time right here on Dodgers Latest.